Hey everyone, welcome to Snarf Talk with Chris.
And Jerry.
And this is our podcast where we give you a behind-the-scenes look as we create a comic book.
We're going to talk about TV, movies, comic books, and hopefully have a lot of guests, other writers, creators, and friends.
Check us out at snarfcomics.com. You can check out our blog and follow along with everything we got going on. Also, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Snarf Comics. And please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes.
Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody.
We're back once again.
Snarf Talk 27.
How about it? That's a magical number.
It is. We just keep pumping them out, Chris.
Feel like the magics of flowing.
We are good at this. We're professionals, and we make content.
Yeah. We're sitting here on the precipice of yet another mega storm.
Yes.
Rolling through.
We are. Oh, gosh. I can feel the stress and anxiety from you.
Like everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody out there knows this, but we're in the midst of a full-fledged natural disaster.
Basically, it is like a nationwide.
It's a pretty big problem.
Nobody can plant corn or soybeans.
It's well past the day where you can plant corn. I mean, it's not past the deadline, but it's past the time where you can grow decent corn.
Yeah, decent corn at all.
And it's really fast approaching being past the time where you can grow decent soybeans either. And we're not even close.
Right, to being able to plant any
of
that.
In fact, they released a map today that shows the worst of it, and it's like a dark red spot right over
the county we live
this
in.
area. Although I feel like in this little section, like through Mazan, we've actually missed a bunch of them.
We did.
We've been very
even
fortunate.
Saturday or Monday, there was a storm that hit like even Morris. Even it started raining in Morris at like 2:00, and we didn't get the rain down here.
That's nothing. Like up Sandwich, Plano, those areas, they had 3 inches of rain in like the span of less than an hour.
Yeah, they were getting like 4 to 5 inches an hour at the rate of fall. Yeah. It was insane.
It's crazy.
We didn't get that, luckily, but either way, I mean, it just keeps it wet enough to be able to not get in the field.
So it's your job to distract me from all this misery.
And that's what I'm going to try to do. So what I'm going to tell you
to
do...
And it's our job to distract all of our listeners from all of this misery. So let's do that.
What I'm going to tell you to do, and what I told a mutual friend of ours earlier, is that you need to start buying stock in any alcohol company. Because it's going to go through the roof, because you guys are going to drown your sorrows here pretty quick.
What's funny is it was about a week ago, maybe even longer, before it got past the point of funny, and then past the point of like dark funny, and then past the point of like depressing, and then past the point of like there's a little bit of hope, and now into the point of like the devastating depths of the human soul.
Yes. Yeah.
So somewhere in the middle of there, I got a great piece of advice from your father-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was talking to him, and he goes, well, what you got to do is get blind drunk every night, or get blind drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, why is that? And he goes, because you'll be like super hungover in the morning, and then it'll be like fit on the morning, and like you got to work.
And then you'll have to work.
But you'll be like miserable.
Yeah.
And he's like, it used to work for me all the time. So that's really funny, because we were like that night or the next night, we were ready to get like this huge storm.
Yeah.
And I got real drunk.
Really?
Like, really drunk. And the next morning I woke up at like 6:30, and we had missed the whole rain. And I actually got 100 acres planted that day.
What day was that?
Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I believe we were just talking about that, and you didn't go out.
Yeah. No, that was Sunday.
Was
this
Sunday?
was Friday night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Friday night. Gotcha.
So,
well, that's good. That's what you need to do tonight, then. I guess you're just going to have to.
I should be doing that.
Maybe it'll just pass us over. But judging by the size of this storm, I doubt it. This is
looking pretty bad.
I doubt it. It really is unbelievable. And when you think about it, the massive size of storms that have covered the entire nation. I mean, they're covering multi-states and they don't break apart. They just continue to travel east across the whole country. and just drench everyone. I don't.
It's climate change.
It's climate change.
We're reaping the. No, I'm serious.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know if that's factual.
We've had.
Not, but.
I mean, it's factual that we've had increasingly irregular and intense weather events over the last 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
We've had like 300-year floods, I think, since like 2009.
Well, a lot of that, though, I was talking to a guy about this in the Corps of Engineers, and he was saying a lot of it. Well, there's multiple factors. Obviously, one is climate change, but then there's also more pavement, like more concrete, more pavement, and more field tile than ever before. Like more and more people are doing that. And then sedimentation.
But actually common misconception, because drainage tile, agricultural drainage tile, actually reduces flooding.
In fields, but it doesn't in our waterway.
It does because...
Impossible.
Well, okay. I will admit that in fast rain events, it can bring more water into the waterway quicker.
Yes.
Okay. But it actually reduces damaging flooding because those drainage tiles are working 24/7 to remove water
from
get it into those waterways.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But there is, so yes, the damaging flooding doesn't affect a lot of areas, but the waterways are swelling and coming out of their banks because all of that water is then being removed from wherever it was at and put directly into the waterway.
But they also hold, drainage tile also create a large area that actually hold water.
It'll bring it, it'll like backfeed up the tile, that as well too. But then there's sedimentation.
There's a lot of controversy on that subject.
I mean, I don't know how there could be controversy.
We won't get into it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll send you the data, and then we'll debate it next show.
Okay, cool. Sedimentation is always a big thing, too, with like all of these backwater areas. So since like a lot of our large like waterways are flooding more frequently and getting out of their banks more, it's putting water into a lot of like the little like river bottoms and backwater ponds and stuff.
The shallow areas.
But it's pushing tons and tons of silt out of the river, and it's starting to fill those up. So then water obviously spreads out further because you have all that sedimentation, and it just keeps spreading out further and further every year because they get, thicker. I guess it would be.
I mean, pavement's a huge problem.
But pavement is a huge problem.
Because it doesn't hold any water.
And everywhere you look, something new is going in. Right. It doesn't matter where you're at. So... how did we get on that?
I don't know, but we should stop talking about it because it's depressing.
Yeah, it is kind of.
We talked about it because of climate change. So, whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and then we got into the whole thing. Anyway.
It's interesting, though, because on the climate change side, there's like forecasted models going forward, like 20 years or whatever, that do show that our area in Illinois is getting wetter, and it's going to continue to get wetter. Which can actually, I mean, nobody can know for sure whether that's a negative or a positive. So if you can get the crops in and we're going to get more summer rains, we're going to be more productive. But to go along with that, additional storms and water are a lot of other things that can be potentially harmful, like disease and stuff like that. So it's an interesting.
Disease could run rampant.
The real fact of the matter is
sex trafficking.
Nobody knows. And I'm sick of all these so-called experts that sit there and say like, there were people 10 years ago that said that we weren't going to make it another 10 years.
Yes.
And I'm not even talking about fringe people. I mean, they were probably pretty fringe.
Yeah.
But there's mainstream people now saying, yep, we got 10 more years. And it's just like, no, stop it.
Yeah, that I don't think you could calculate that.
The other thing that I always wonder about, too, is like I understand the micro scale of, things having to move and it being devastating for certain areas, but we don't know what the 100-year ramifications are. So maybe climates shift a little, or a different area is more productive for different things, and another area becomes less productive. That doesn't mean anything. If it happens over a scale of hundreds or thousands in the years, then your society develops around it to an extent,
and it doesn't change. It doesn't change like gravitational pull and tides. I mean, it might give us more water, so the tides might come in further.
There's a
but it's
real
not
issue with
changing
like
anything.
islands and
Well,
like coastal areas.
Turns out that's why you don't live on an island.
They're
Okay.
going to have some problems, but it's weird. And I was actually reading something the other day, and I can't remember all the details, but there's a lot of evidence to suggest that the poles are moving.
Oh yes, I've
That
read
has nothing
that
to
too.
do with climate change,
No,
but it does
there's-
change climate.
It's supposed to. Aren't the magnetic poles supposed to flip?
Wait, it's not that. It's that the tilt of the Earth's axis is changing slightly.
So that we wobble.
Well, whatever it is, it changes climate. And
Oh.
that could be part of what's happening. I don't know. Nobody
Probably
knows for
is.
sure. I mean, the climate is changing. It is always changing. It's
Yes.
been intensified by, human activity. I mean,
Sure.
it's hard to deny that at this point. But we don't know what the long-term ramifications of that are going to be in 50 years or 100 years. And anybody that says they know,
Doesn't.
They don't.
I mean, there's projections. You can project,
you can project anything.
but that means that it's going to stay the course that you're projecting, right?
Right.
That is almost impossible.
Right.
Like something is going to change it regardless of what it is. So you'd have to run.
We shall overcome, Gerald.
I'm going to. I don't know about you, but I will.
Anyway, new subject.
New subject is there's just I wrote down some news here.
Ooh, are we in the news?
The news, and right before this show started, we both watched a trailer that I want to talk about right away before I forget.
10-4.
And it was called Swamp Thing.
Ooh,
We've
yes.
discussed this before, but probably like I don't know, for like 5 weeks in a row we've said something about Swamp Thing.
Not a whole lot, though. Not in depth. We could go in depth on
This
Swamp Thing a little
one-
more. We could do a whole like Swamp Thing segment here.
We absolutely can.
If you listen to the podcast, you know that me and Jerry are huge Swamp Thing fans,
Yeah.
and it was instrumental Swamp Thing in binding us.
It was. It
our
is
relationship.
what brought us together. And there was a new trailer that came out. It's like 2 minutes, like 2.5 minutes. And so first I was talking about how in episodes past, I was talking about how it's like horror oriented, which is the Alan Moore comic book really is. But when you watch it on a show compared to reading it in a book, it's a lot more dramatic in that show.
Yeah,
I feel like reading it in the book and looking at the pictures and doing whatever, like, that would be like scary if it were to happen and it's portrayed as being scary.
yeah.
But you don't get the same effect as what this
It's
is.
not really
showing.
easy, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's hard to do horror in a comic book.
Yeah.
You can do it in a literature, like a written book, like that you would read The Shining,
Yeah.
and it's freaky.
And it's
hard to read a comic book and it be freaky or
And
horror related.
here's the
because you're
difference.
just kind of looking at
But here's the difference between like what The Shining and a novel is compared to a comic book. So any novel that you read or like The Shining or whatever, you're painting the picture in your own brain and you're creating the images, which could terrify you.
Right.
You really could scare yourself.
and you do get
by reading
lost
the book.
and sucked into a book,
Sure. But then a comic book, and obviously we all know that Chris and I love comic books and we are somewhat obsessed with this culture. The difference with that, though, is that the picture is painted for you, obviously directly in front of your face. So you can assume things happened outside of the frame or outside of each panel, but the majority of the story is shown to you.
Yeah. And
So-
you're not imagining it.
Right. It's
You're
not
not
an imagination.
seeing it in your mind. You're seeing it on the page. Whereas when you read a novel, you're immersed in a world in your imagination. It's just different.
Yeah, it is different. And now seeing this trailer, I mean, I think this is going to be a pretty freaky show.
Yeah.
And if it's anything like the trailer, it looks like the production is phenomenal.
It looks like production value is great.
I don't think they scrimped on like money.
They did not, and then the cast is, well known. Some of the people.
Yeah, the cast is really well known, and then Swamp Thing himself, I hope he looks like what they're showing. He looks like.
Looks
you never
pretty
know.
cool.
He looks perfect. Literally perfect.
Here's
to me.
my worry on this show. All right, from that trailer, it clearly seems to me that this was meant to be a season 1 of a long show.
Yes. And this
it
is what I
feels
was
like
going to
this
get into
is just an origin, and I bet you don't even see Swamp Thing till right at the end.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna bring up as my worry, and I was gonna say I hope they don't wait until episode 8 or 9 to really show you Swamp Thing or Swamp Thing be present.
Right.
Because now we know that there's only 10 episodes rather than 13 because they cut it down. And then I'm also hoping that like 8, 9, 10 episode don't seem rushed and cut and edited together to make it an ending.
Right. I hope this ends up as an ongoing series because
So
here's
do
the
I.
thing. Like,
So do I.
it's not like I'm super interested in a Swamp Thing origin.
No, but I feel like you do have to do an origin with Swamp
Probably
Thing
because nobody knows that much
he
about
is
it.
a lesser known character.
But the great stuff that I love about Swamp Thing is in knowing that character and the stories that come after, and
the love story and emotion that comes out of that guy.
But that and for me, it's more like the metaphysical aspect of like his connection to the universe. He's like almost, I wouldn't say a god, but he's like,
But on that level, almost like he's
or
like
even above that. He's like an eternal. He is like the embodiment of nature.
of nature. He is
is.
Mother Nature, basically, only in swamp form.
And they've
But
never.
I think Mother Nature is a character too that he
Yeah, I think so.
can talk to.
He is the green. I mean, he is.
Yes, he's the green. Yeah.
So I mean, he is like. He's not just.
It's not just a monster.
It's not just a guy that can control plants.
Right.
Like, he can like travel through the universe. And
Yeah.
he's like a god almost, really.
Yeah. So it is an origin. They're talking about like a disease from the swamp and how that all starts. That's really cool. I like it. You see Alec Holland. He's the main character. He's the guy who turns into Swamp Thing. You see him. He falls into the swamp. I think from an explosion of some sort. I'm not quite sure, but it's trying to turn a lot of different people. Are killing a lot of different people, but then Alec obviously takes over the swamp, and then who is it? Abby? Is it Abby Arcane?
Abby Arcane, yeah.
She's like investigating it and trying to discover like what's happening, and then obviously you could see like they want to try to capture the Swamp Thing, and so they can do studies on him. Obviously, he's not going to let that happen.
Right. It's kind of interesting because I don't like horror.
I don't either.
And we've seen the New Mutants trailer, and my first thought on that is like, oh, we don't need that as a horror thing. But like this, I'm excited that it is horror and that it's something different in the genre.
Yes.
I'm actually excited about that.
I'm super excited about it. I hate horror, but I don't know how you could ever portray this otherwise. The more I see it, I don't know how you
This
could.
doesn't really seem as much like horror. I guess it kind of is, but also mixed with a little bit. I kind of get like a True Detective vibe.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is like that.
And so True Detective is a good example because
That's a good
it's
point.
kind of horror, or it's chilling, but it's not like an outright horror movie. It's not one that I feel like watching it is going to be like leaving you unsettled.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. I don't feel like it's actually going to like disturb you by any means, but I think you will get startled at certain points, which they want to do. And then it's also like the build up to how you feel about this thing that just shows up, right? Swamp Thing. It's like they're trying to build up like the feeling of everyone else, I think, in the community about the swamp. And then there was a really cool part in that trailer that they say, and it was saying the swamp is getting back at us, and I'm sure they're going to play a big thing into like littering and dumping, environmental stuff and dumping things into the environment.
But that comic has always been an environmental thing.
It has. I'm just saying, like, I'm positive they're gonna throw that right out, in the beginning. That is a big problem. So I'm super excited about this. Obviously, I love Swamp Thing, but I really, 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 really hope that they don't cancel this show. But I also really, really, really hope that it's good.
Yeah.
And from the trailer, I would suggest everybody go watch it because it looks very cool.
Yeah, and before you do that, or after or during, I think we could talk about some of our favorite Swamp Thing suggested readings, which we've talked about before,
Yeah.
but probably my number one, well, the number one far and away
The number one. Yeah.
is the Saga of Swamp Thing series by Alan Moore. So the Saga of Swamp Thing was a separate comic that ran. It actually wasn't started by Alan Moore. I think he took over, was it around 20?
It was 20.
It was
I believe,
20,
or 21.
something like that. I think 21 was the new origin.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So did it run up to 20? And then no, I'm saying like, did the original one run up to 20 and then the Saga take over at 21?
No, it was a separate book, I believe. Saga of Swamp Thing was a different book than Swamp Thing.
No, I know, but Swamp Thing ended when the Saga of Swamp Thing started, didn't it?
Yeah.
So did it end at 20?
No, it went something else, and then they started over with Saga of Swamp Thing number 1.
Okay.
Went through 20. Alan Moore took over, and he had a long run on that book. We've talked about it before, but they're collected in, the best way to read those would be in trades. So they're collected in trade paperbacks that you can buy on Amazon, really pretty reasonably cheap.
Yeah, pretty cheap.
I think there's 6 volumes. It ran for a while. It reintroduces, you don't need any previous knowledge because they redo the origin. They have a great entire story, and that's what I love about his run is it takes you out of there. He goes to Gotham City. There's a bunch of stuff going on. So that's a great one. After that, I'll be honest, I didn't really read a lot of Swamp Thing as a kid, so I wasn't really reading any of it. It wasn't until later that I got into Saga of Swamp Thing. And then the new 52 run started in early 2012, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I was always wrong on when the new 52 started.
It was around 2012, I believe. Those are out collected now, too. And that's also an amazing run by Scott Snyder, and then it was taken over by Charles Soule. And that's a really cool run. The art is amazing. And it's definitely Swamp Thing on a bigger scale, I think.
Yeah, big time.
Taking on, what was it, the Rot and all different kinds of things.
Is it the Rot or the Blight?
I can't remember.
The Blight?
But it was a really great run, and it ran for a long time, too. So those are probably the 2 best suggested readings for that. I would start with the Saga of Swamp Thing. Collected trades, and I would just buy them on Amazon because they're, $10 a trade?
Yeah, they're super cheap. There's also a run, and I was looking it up because I couldn't remember what it was called, which I still don't, it doesn't say, it's just the Swamp Thing. It's still just the Saga of Swamp Thing, but, or no, it's Swamp Thing. But it started with issue number 140 when Grant Morrison took over. He did a 4.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, so he did a 4-issue arc with Mark Millar.
Oh.
Him and Mark Millar co-authored it.
2 of the best authors of all time.
Yeah, and Mark Millar had his own book. He took over with 144 after Grant Morrison was done with that 4-issue arc, but they collaborated so that it could kind of feed into Mark Millar's run. And but this was in like 94.
Okay.
This was a long time ago. And it was about like what Grant Morrison did was he separated Alec Holland and Swamp Thing because he took him obviously this is a total Grant Morrison thing. He took him into this like dream world, like into the universe, and in that situation he made Swamp Thing into this like mindless destructive creature, and Alec Holland was the mind of him.
I can't think.
And it separated the two. And then it was all about how they were trying to get back together because one can't be without the other.
Right.
Basically. And it's super trippy. I don't think I've read all 4 of them. I know I've read the first one. And it's when they like split apart. And it's, of course, it's the way Grant Morrison does things. I think it's similar on all aspects of what Grant Morrison writes, but every single time it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And which will tie into a later topic when we talk about it later. But yeah, it's wild. I think that it's just 4 issues. I think it's really cool to read. Again, I don't think I've read all of them. I know I've read 1. I've probably read more than that, but now, like immediately when I get home, I'm going to read the rest of the other 3, because I thought it was longer than 4 issues though.
Well, I will say the Saga of Swamp Thing by Alan Moore is considered probably top 5 greatest comic book runs in history.
Yeah, ever.
Maybe
Ever.
with, I don't know if you count Dark Knight.
I
Probably
mean,
that.
Absolutely, Dark Knight's in there.
Watchmen, probably.
Yeah.
So,
we've done our tops.
well, I just mean in general by that industry.
But yeah, if you look at any like rankings, it's going to be Watchmen, probably Saga, Dark Knight, Swamp Thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the great thing, guys. You're going to get the DC app to watch Swamp Thing. And I'm betting most of those, if not all of those comics are on there.
Yep.
So I've been exploring the DC app a little bit more. For what, $70 a year, you're going to get Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, and some other stuff we'll talk about later. But I started looking into the comic aspect of it, and there is a ton on there.
Oh, really?
A ton. It's totally worth it just for the comic side. You need to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, get rid of Comixology and just have that.
I definitely need to get rid of Comixology Unlimited.
Well,
because Comixology itself is free.
Yeah.
It's the unlimited portion that costs you money. And it does give you kind of a significant discount on a lot of different books, but it's not worth the money to.
They have like hundreds of thousands of titles on DC Unlimited.
Yeah, I need to get
It's amazing. And the other night I was sitting in bed and they have a panel by panel mode that you can watch on your TV in bed, and it works and it's great. And I was thinking like, well, this isn't going to work very well because I'm not going to be able to see it or read it.
Yeah, you're not.
But it totally does. I mean, I have a pretty good sized TV in my bedroom, but it works.
Really?
So,
what size TV do you have in your bedroom, and how far is your bed from the screen?
I don't know, probably from the end of the bed.
Yeah.
It's probably another 5 or 6 feet. And it's like a 46-inch TV, something like that.
Okay.
42-inch. What's the 40 size?
42. Yeah.
42? Yeah. Probably something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I don't
anyway.
know if there's a 46.
Anyway, I was super excited because I was reading Metal, the Metal series.
Dark Knight Metal?
Yeah.
Oh, like all of it?
Yeah.
Or just the Batman Who Laughs part?
No, I didn't read that. They have like all the Dark Knight Metal stuff on there.
Okay.
So I was reading one of the comics. I didn't read that much of it. Anyway, we'll talk more about DC later.
So there's there's a third series of Swamp Thing that I haven't read, and I definitely need to because Brian K. Vaughan wrote it.
Oh, nice.
In 2001. And they're issues like 12 through 20 because it was 1 through 11. Oh, that's artist. Never mind. I'm sorry. That was an artist. But Brian K. Vaughan wrote it, and it kind of goes around Swamp Thing's daughter, which is Tefe.
I don't know.
Tefe Holland, Tefe. And it's about her, but how like she's an 18-year-old and she gets a mind wipe to control her darker impulses and all this stuff. It's more about her, which is kind of funny because Brian K. Vaughan really likes to write for women. Like women characters, I think. I don't know why. I feel like he's the wrong guy to do that because he's a man, but I don't know. He writes for women, but that sounds pretty interesting, and I want to read that.
So anyway, yeah, that's we're super excited about Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
And it comes out in like 4 days, and there's lightning happening all over outside.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for
anyway,
that.
So that's exciting. Yeah, I've been kind of like we'll talk about it later, but I finished Doom Patrol, so I've been looking for new things to watch.
Oh, and you did finish it. Okay.
That's why I was been exploring this DC app more because there's like I can't find anything to watch right now.
Oh, really? Like anywhere?
No, I just nothing. Is it just me, or is there like nothing on Netflix that's interesting anymore?
No, I think there is, but it just doesn't pan out.
Either I've watched stuff. I mean, I've watched a bunch of this stuff already, but like nothing I ever see on there interests me whatsoever. Like the big one they're promoting right now is that Dead
to Me,
and no interest.
Okay, well, I started watching that, so we'll talk about that. I have a little bit. We have more news.
I did. Okay, go ahead. More news. Sorry.
Well, are you going to sidetrack us, or are we
No,
gonna
I do
it?
have one piece of news.
Okay.
Just something that
Go
I'm
for it.
super excited about.
All right.
On HBO, their lineup of new shows coming out. We've talked about the Watchmen show, which looks really cool.
Yes.
But they have this other show that's called His Dark Materials. His Dark Materials.
His Dark Materials.
So
I've
it is
heard of
based
this.
off a book series that was wildly popular. I don't know how we missed it. I think it's like a YA book series.
Wait, is it about like polar bears and stuff?
Yes. So they
Okay.
made that movie.
Yeah, there was a movie out, right? With Nicole Kidman?
Yeah, called The Golden Compass.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So they tried to do this in movie form, and that movie didn't do well.
I
And then
like that movie, though.
I know.
actually.
I don't really remember it, but it was supposed to be a
liked
series. Like it was supposed to be a series of movies.
Oh,
because it's a book series.
It reminded me of the Chronicles of Narnia,
Yeah,
kind of.
but it didn't do well, and so they never continued making them. But
Okay.
it looks really cool on HBO. So
His Dark Materials.
yeah,
Okay.
so
I guess I don't know what this is really about.
I don't know what
besides
it's
the
about either.
Besides the polar bears that wear armor.
I don't really remember the movie. I don't know what it's about, but it looks cool.
And I know Nicole Kidman in the movies was like bad. Was like
Yes.
was the bad person, right?
Yeah, she's
I
bad.
think. Okay.
She's bad.
Oh, she bad. She's bad.
Nicole Kidman.
Bad Barbie.
She's a bad Barbie. Nicole Kidman. I mean, like, she's been in a lot of stuff.
She has, but she's rough. looking
Really?
now.
No,
I think
she's
so.
not.
Yes.
Stop it. She looks really good for.
No, she doesn't. I don't think. I think she looks very covered up.
How
because
old is she now?
90? I don't know. She's super old, and she looks her age. If she didn't try to cover up with plastic surgery, fake teeth,
She's only 51.
and bad makeup.
She's Australian, right?
Yes,
Wasn't she in that movie Australia?
her and Keith Urban. Keith Urban.
Yeah,
and
she's
her
married to Keith Urban.
Yeah.
So she was in that movie Australia with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, and she probably said, "Put another shrimp on the barbie."
That's not a knife.
This is a knife.
That's a knife.
No, this is a knife.
You know what they say if you're trying to do an Australian accent?
I think we've done this once before. No, I don't remember.
The size of a tangerine.
This.
That's how, when you're doing like vocal things to get
Yeah.
your accent right, you say that. The size of a tangerine.
The size of a tangerine.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Or
said
that's
that right.
not a knife.
This is a knife.
Is it this is a knife?
Yes. That's not a knife. Then he pulls it out. He does this.
This is a knife. What's
Yeah.
that guy's name?
Crocodile Dundee.
What's his real name?
So-
Paul Hogan?
Paul Hogan, yes.
Yes.
Ah, yeah. I was trying to
Crocodile
figure-
Dundee movies, man. They were
Loved
great
them.
when we were kids.
I was obsessed with Crocodile Dundee as a kid.
Really? Obsessed?
Oh, yeah. I watched it constantly. Crocodile Dundee and Crocodile Dundee 2.
How many
in
were
New
there?
York. 2, I believe. Well, no. There was another one that came out later with Paul Hogan. I think there was 3 total. But the first 2 I would watch all the time.
What a weird.
I still want to watch. I want Grady to. I want my kids to
There
watch all
was
3 of them.
3. Crocodile Dundee, Crocodile Dundee 2,
Yes.
and Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles in 2001.
Yeah, it was done like later. You hear that? I don't know
Holy
if that's on
cow.
recording, but you're gonna hear the storm, people.
That
It
is
is-
not good. Anyway, what a weird like little time in the world when the Crocodile Dundee movies were coming out.
I love those. And he was like, that's the first time I had ever heard about Aborigines and a didgeridoo, and I tried to like make my own didgeridoo,
Didgeridoo.
and make the sound. I would always try to like yeah, but they breathe in through their nose and out through their mouth at the same time. They never take breaths.
That's not possible.
Yes, it absolutely 100% is.
Do it right now.
I can't do it.
Nobody can do it.
Yes, they can. People do it. I'm telling you, that's how they play didgeridoos. They never take a breath. You breathe in your nose and out your mouth at the same time.
I do not think that's humanly possible.
It is 100% possible.
Well, don't you have? Isn't that what like? Don't you
It's
have a
a
little
skill.
flap down there?
Yeah, but you can open it up. I mean, this is possible. I'm telling you. And the Aboriginal people have done it.
Aborigines are interesting.
They are. They're like incredible beings.
Yeah, they're because they're like our closest, not closest. They found tribes and stuff, but like I think like genetically or something, they're like the closest we can measure like to back when we were hunter gatherer
Yeah.
societies.
Oh, I'm sure. They can like run forever. They don't.
I don't think that's true.
They can like not eat for weeks.
I don't think that's true either.
They can breathe underwater.
They do have really long lifespans, though. But there's a huge problem in the Aboriginal community.
They're getting
now.
fat.
Diabetes. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't there like a documentary about
There
this?
is. Yeah. I was gonna watch it. I didn't watch it, but maybe I did watch it.
Magic pill? Is it the magic pill?
I don't know.
That's the one I watched.
The problem is Coca-Cola.
Well, yeah,
it's diet. I mean, it's diet.
And like overproduced food.
Yeah, but like their bodies can't handle it because they haven't adapted to that because they're like closer to hunter-gatherers.
Yeah, I think it is called the magic pill because I've watched that.
What is the magic pill?
So it's not all about the ketogenic diet.
Oh,
but
yeah, yes, that's right.
It talks a lot about it.
I don't think I watched it, but I think the guy was on Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, probably. But it's a really cool documentary to watch. I would suggest it, and it's like 2 hours, but it's a good flick. But it is. That's what the Aboriginal people are on because it shows how like overweight and diabetic they are, and then they started the new ketogenic diet or that style of diet, and
they have
it really helped them.
Genetic mutation that helps them survive tougher climates. That's why they've survived so well.
Huh.
They've been genetically isolated for over 50,000 years. So that was the big thing. They haven't their genes. They haven't mixed their gene pool with the rest of us for a long time.
With the whites.
But I tell you what, there was some weird ass shit going on in Australia back in the day. Like
what?
So they were
Like
trying
inbreeding?
to breed them out. The white people that went to, when it was colonized or whatever by Britain.
Yeah.
The white people there, they were racist. I mean, so they were basically they had a government program in place where they went and took their children away from them. They took their children away from them, and they took their children, and their children were raised with a white family.
Wow.
And they attempted to breed them out, essentially.
Why? Well, I don't understand what the purpose of that is. Like, why would you do that?
I'm going to look up more of the details because it was a crazy thing.
That is insane. Well, I've got other news that is completely opposite of what the Aboriginals...
All I care about
is Aborigines.
Is Aboriginal stolen children.
And Paul Hogan.
The stolen generation were the children of Australian, Aboriginal, and Torres Strait Islanders who were removed from their family by the Australian federal and state government agencies and church missions under acts of their respective parliaments. The removal of those referred to as half-caste or children were conducted in a period between 1905 and 1967.
Holy crap.
Although in some places mixed race children were still being taken in the 1970s.
That's
between 1 in 10 and 1 in 3, there's differing numbers. Indigenous Australian children were forcibly taken from their families and communities between 1910 and 1970. So between 1 in 10 and 1 in 3. Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
It was a government policy.
And it was allowed.
There should be a movie about that.
Yeah, there should. Let's write it.
We should write that.
Yeah.
That's going to be our next comic.
Yeah. We'll put that into the comic. Yep.
Anyway, more news.
The Jessica Jones teaser trailer came out. I believe it was today or yesterday for the final season because they're doing another season of Jessica Jones.
How did it look?
It's only like a 30-second clip. It looks good. I mean, there's so they're just coming down an empty hallway. You can hear a guy in like a dark room in a red light talking about Jessica Jones and like about how he doesn't like her and enough is enough is what he says. And he says like enough is enough, and then somebody knocks on Jessica Jones' PI door, and she gets the door, and the guy's gone, obviously, and that's it. But June 14th, that's coming out in the next few weeks.
Did you ever see the season 2?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, I never finished it.
You didn't?
No, because
I thought you had.
No, I never finished it because Marley really liked that show, and she was into watching it, and then she just kind of quit watching it, but she wouldn't let me watch it without her. But then she never watched it again.
Oh, well, that's upsetting.
I remember it being very boring.
It is not as good as the first season by any means.
No.
it picks up towards the end, or I would like towards the middle. It picks up.
I'm
It
pretty
gets a little
close
bit
to
better.
the end. I only got a couple more episodes.
But I don't. It's not the first season because it's David Tennant was my jam.
Yeah.
Like the Purple Man is an awesome villain, and I think that's what really made the first season because of their dynamic. The second season, not so much.
I don't even remember who the villain was.
It's good. I don't either. Now that you bring it up, I'm trying to think. I thought I did. I don't remember. But it was a decent. I remember like not hating it.
Yeah.
I liked it better than Luke Cage. I liked it better than the first season of Iron Fist. I liked the second season of Iron Fist.
Yeah, it rocked, man.
Yeah.
I'm sad. I didn't get to see what happens
thought it was
without
pretty
when he's
good.
got gun fu.
Yeah, he does. He does have that. So how there's a new movie for Godzilla,
Yeah.
Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I personally like Godzilla.
Yeah, me too.
I like watching Godzilla fight other monsters.
Did you watch the Bryan Cranston one
I did.
a couple years ago?
Yeah, I did. Pretty good. I mean,
I never saw it.
Wasn't terrible, but I loved.
Did you watch the one with Matthew Broderick?
I loved the one with Matthew Broderick.
Was that Godzilla 2000 or something?
I think so. I think
Okay.
it was, and it was the whole Puff Daddy music. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
The Puff Daddy
Yeah.
song.
P.
What-
Diddy, you mean?
No, at the time, I believe he was actual Puff Daddy,
Okay.
and he had a song.
Was he? Did he have every breath I take?
Yes, because
every move you make,
Biggie Smalls.
every single day.
What's that guy's name?
I'll be missing you. Which was not his song, but he
No.
just rapped over another
Well,
song.
and then that's what I was going to say is that the song that he did for Godzilla has Led Zeppelin's Kashmir in the
Oh, yeah,
background.
yeah, yeah.
Like he just basically raps over Kashmir.
Okay.
And I hated that part because I loved Led Zeppelin. I've always loved Led Zeppelin.
Get the lead out, man.
Yeah. And that part I was like, what? Wait. That was like my first realization that people he didn't steal it. I'm sure he paid a crap load of money to have that in
he
his
sampled
song.
it. It's
But
the way they
I
call
was
it
like,
in the rap community.
I don't like
is
that.
Sampling. Jerry.
That's what that's called?
Yes.
It's not like capitalizing on better music.
No, but I was a huge fan
liked-
of the B.I.G. Notorious
Yeah,
B.I.G.
that's what it was. Biggie Smalls was Notorious B.I.G. Yeah, so he's dead.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
Some people think.
No, that's Tupac that they think is still alive.
either-
They know Biggie Smalls is dead
How do they know?
because he's not big anymore. He's small.
Okay.
So Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Apparently, critics are not a fan.
I've heard that. People are apparently pissed because it's too much monsters fighting.
That was the
That is the complaint.
I just saw that it was getting a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Too
from
much
critics
monsters
score.
fighting, not enough personal drama is the exact complaint.
Screw you.
It's a freaking Godzilla movie.
It is supposed. That's the majority of the time. Everybody's like, "There's not enough monsters. Not enough monster fighting."
yeah.
No, that's what this entire movie is
It's
supposed
literally
to be
just monsters
about.
fighting.
And I feel like that little
It's basically Pacific Rim, but with monsters.
right, Millie Bobby Brown is in this one.
I don't know who that is.
The chick from 11 from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
That's her. She's like the main thing besides Godzilla.
Yeah. Godzilla.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and I'm still going to see it regardless of critic scores because we all know critics are
You know what's
stupid.
getting really good scores?
We should be like film critics.
We kind of are.
Yeah, but I mean like paid film critics because.
The problem is we like everything.
But I feel like they're like weathermen, like weather.
Is Godzilla
people.
out?
No, this is just
Oh, so
like
how do they know?
because critics are coming out with reviews before it was like all critics have scores before it's ever widely released.
Well, in any case, I have heard what is out is Aladdin. I've heard it's awesome,
Well, I've heard both things,
but it's got a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I know people have seen it, and they said it was amazing.
okay. Because my sister-in-law just on Sunday, so it was my grandma's birthday Sunday. Happy birthday, Grandma! It was also my 10-year anniversary with the Corps of Engineers.
Wow.
Yeah, I've worked there 10 years. On paper, it's like 12, but in reality, it's 10. Anyway, my sister-in-law had put out a post that day because we were talking about Aladdin, so she put it on Facebook, and like just asked the community of people that she knows if anybody liked it, who's seen it, whatnot. And the first 10 comments on there was 50-50 split, where they would either say completely awful or it's awesome, go see it.
And
it was legit 5-5.
I've heard great music, big production value, big dancing and
which is good.
music
That's what
scenes.
I want.
That's what I want.
That's what you want.
I want to see that movie. But also,
I still want to see
I
it
want to see John Wick, the first one.
Oh yeah, you've got to watch.
But the
those.
third one's out, and it's getting really good reviews. And that Rocketman movie's out, and that's getting really good reviews. The Elton John movie.
Oh, I didn't know that one was out.
I'm not going to go to the theaters and see
No.
it. But
I really want to see John Wick. I've seen the first two, and I'm in the bag. I mean, these aren't movies that you go. John Wick isn't a movie that you go see for really in-depth plot and great storyline and heartfelt emotion. No, that's not what this is. These are action movies that give you phenomenal action and Keanu Reeves doing what Keanu Reeves is supposed to do.
Why isn't he in a Marvel movie yet?
I don't know. What I want to see, and it was brought up on Fat Man on Batman today that I was listening to, is Keanu Reeves and Nicolas Cage in the same movie.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
They're making, he's going to be in a new Bill and Ted movie.
Nicolas Cage?
No, Keanu Reeves.
Oh, I thought you meant, no, I obviously know Keanu Reeves. I thought you meant they were bringing Nicolas Cage into one of those movies.
I'm a big fan of Bill and Ted.
Yeah, my brother was obsessed with Bill and Ted, so I used to watch it all the time because I followed whatever my brother did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to. He forced me. He would. He forced me to watch all the same things as him.
Well, good. He liked good stuff.
I know, and that's why I like this stuff. Okay, next for my news.
This is news, Jerry.
Yeah, this is a big one. Okay, I feel bad for him, but I feel like the rest of the world is in the same boat. Kit Harington, he plays Jon Snow.
Yeah.
The day before the episode came out, the last episode, checked himself into rehab.
Oh, man.
For stress and alcohol.
Oh. Well.
And his wife is Rose something. She was the wildling.
Yeah,
that's his legit wife.
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know that till today. That's kind of neat. I like that.
They met on the set.
So she said that he checked himself in because he is overly stressed and has been drinking more often. And I honestly feel like it's because he's worked up over this show.
Or he just knows nothing.
Well, no, we know he knows nothing. And they wrote that. Believe me. This last season, he knew nothing. I don't like how they did any of this.
No, it was bad stuff.
I just don't get it. Why don't you let him
oh my God,
be the king and then him say, I don't want this. I'm going to pick this person. And then if he were to do that and then leave to go to the wall or leave to go with the wildlings or whatever, I would be so much happier with that than being cast out and not even selected and being enslaved.
Yeah.
It
literally, the more and more you think about it, and it was great because I listened to Fat Man and Batman too, and Mark Bernardin had a great take on it. He's like, first of all, it makes no sense that any of them would get together and pick a new king or change any of that, and then the whole brand thing is so stupid. He's like, Jon Snow has the best claim to the throne.
Yes.
They would all probably go with that. They didn't even mention it.
No.
And he would be the exact, and he was right. He should have broke the Iron Throne, gave every kingdom their own kingdom.
Yeah,
said, this is done.
Yeah.
There's no one king anymore. It's 7 different kingdoms, and fucked off to the wall.
Yep.
To the north. That's what he should have done. That's what should have happened.
Absolutely, it should have. It doesn't make any sense on what they did there. And
but I was glad to hear that they are, in fact, because they were kind of swirling back and forth. No, there will be no more Game of Thrones. Yes, there'll be more. No, there'll be more. They are making a Game of Thrones show. They're shooting the pilot.
A spin-off, an earlier one.
A spin-off. It's a prequel.
Yeah, way before.
But they're shooting it, and it's happening.
Oh, that's good.
So, they're shooting it next week.
I'm in the bag for any of that stuff.
Yeah, I love what this whole Game of Thrones thing made me realize that I kind of forgot about is that I love the fantasy genre. and we haven't
course.
gotten a lot of it.
No, because
There's a
the whole
huge-
comic book world
It's
been
taken
taking
over, and there's
Yeah.
been a huge drought since Lord of the Rings, and then Game of Thrones took that mantle up. And I think what we found out is that the general public really likes the fantasy genre.
It. And I think we're going to get more of it with
we're
with
definitely gonna
Lord
get
of
more of
Rings. With Amazon.
Yeah.
and,
By the way, I got a little news on that because I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, what is happening with that? They haven't started shooting anything. It's like 2022.
Oh, I thought they did. I thought they did start shooting a lot of it.
They started some casting. They're still working on it. I think it unfortunately doesn't come out till 2022.
Damn.
And they contractually have to do it by then. That's like their last date. The Tolkien estate gave them their contract, whatever it was. They got to produce something by 2022. So that's when you'll see something happen.
Okay.
There. But there is a bunch of other stuff in the pipeline for the fantasy genre, which sounded interesting. Apparently, there's a whole series that Stephen King had written. And so, like, obviously, did Stephen King die?
No.
Okay, he's alive, right?
Clearly alive.
Okay.
He just came out with a new book.
Well, whatever the case is, they're making like a ton of Stephen King stuff now, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, he's obviously been very proactive over the last 5 years of like,
Right.
hey, we're going to...
From his grave.
We're going to create this whole empire because they got Castle Rock. They came out with a new It movie. There's a bunch of stuff in the pipeline for him.
Yeah.
But they are doing... He has a book series that's all like fantasy books that he wrote for his daughter, like almost as like bedtime stories type thing.
Okay.
And apparently they're really good and they're being adapted right now.
What's it called?
I can't remember.
I don't remember either. I haven't been a huge
I'm not a
Stephen King reader.
Fan. Yeah.
Except for I was reading what's called the Mercedes Man.
Yeah, you talked about
It's really
that.
good. I would suggest all of you read it. And his style of writing is just phenomenal.
It's possible that it's The Eyes of the Dragon
Okay.
because that's a fantasy novel by Stephen King, but there might have been other ones. He's written so much.
It's unbelievable.
I want to get into some of that because I did not realize, because I'm not a Stephen King
How
reader.
prolific he is.
Well,
at
I know
writing.
he's prolific, but that it's a whole interconnected universe that he's created. I didn't know that the characters, like the bad guy,
That's what Castle Rock is like the connected universe.
but like the bad guy from The Stand is the bad guy from the Dark Tower series, and the same one in this fantasy series. They're all the same, and he's basically like the devil.
yeah,
But
the Man in Black or the Black Man or
it's like
something.
Rick
Man in
Rick
Black.
something, like Rick Flag or something. I don't know.
That's a WWE wrestler. I'm pretty sure.
That's not it. That's not it.
No, but yeah.
But I really want to read the Dark Tower series, like bad. Now.
There are some separate, like Mercedes Man is different. Than
Right.
Mercedes
Oh,
Killer.
of course, there's standalone
But
ones.
the sci-fi horror stuff are connected.
Okay. The Eyes of the Dragon is King's only foray into straight fantasy without connections to the real world, except by way of Randall Flagg. That's the guy. I've heard it's quite good, so I'm probably going to read that.
Back to my Jon Snow thing. So the rehab place that he's going to
Yeah.
is $120,000 a week.
Oh, that seems about right.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Like I read that. I don't know. They just posted that just because they could, and like in this article, and I don't know. That's ridiculous. That he makes a lot of money apparently.
Yeah, but man,
And on the Fat Man on Batman episode, I don't know how far you got through that.
I read the whole thing.
You did? I haven't heard the whole thing. I've heard the first like hour, but they talked about Lena Headey.
Yeah.
She's Cersei. Made like $1 million every episode for the final 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And
For staring
So
out a window,
she-
drinking wine.
yeah, would stare at a window, say 12 lines of dialogue, and get $1 million
Right.
every episode. Holy crap. Who's her agent? Whoever she's working with to do that kind of stuff is incredible.
Yeah.
And then you come to a table read and she's like, okay, like what do I have to do? Like, oh, nothing. Like absolutely nothing. You have to do nothing. Great. Perfect. Thanks. Like you're not even in this episode. You're not even in like 3 of the episodes actually.
Right.
And the other 4 that you are in or 3 that you are in, just stand there and look ugly with your stupid hair. Your stupid short hair.
It got cut off.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't grow in like 4 years. That was stupid.
Yeah.
And she looked like an idiot. And I don't like her. Glad she's dead.
In very unsatisfying way.
Right. Because you would just stand there and let the building fall on you.
Right.
Wouldn't you?
And then like
what I'd do.
not have your face smashed in.
And Amy made a good point. Yeah, right. And you're in perfect condition when you're found. Amy made a good point too, is that like when Tyrion goes down to like look for them, basically, for some reason. Well, I mean, I think he went to go look to see if Jaime made it out, is what he was doing. But anyway, like he walks through that keep down there, and there's like nothing. There's like nothing around.
There's
nothing
like a little pile of rubble.
Yeah, and Amy's like, how did anybody die in that rubble? There's only like 6 bricks on the ground. And then he got up to a little pile, and they were on the top of it.
I think 1 brick could kill you.
It's like, well, maybe, depending on how far it fell. But either way, it's like, there's like nothing around.
When's the last time you had a brick dropped on your head?
Today.
From 50 feet up.
Today, actually. It's a soft
Did it hurt?
brick. Yeah, it hurts.
Not a Lego brick.
Oh, okay. I mean, it would hurt, but I don't think
Not
it
a
would kill
charcoal
me.
briquette.
I don't think it would kill me.
Talking about a 100-pound chunk of rock.
I'm positive I would live.
Yeah. Well, agree to disagree.
I'm part Aborigine, and they've got a genetic trait.
They've got a gene for that.
They do, except for the beaties, the diabetes.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's their weakness.
Right.
That's probably insensitive.
It is. Yeah, probably. You're insensitive. Hey, there's another movie out called Brightburn.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
It's like Bad Superman.
Yeah,
kind of.
not. It didn't seem interesting to me.
It's getting terrible reviews as well.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's not doing well.
I've seen positive articles on that, but not interested.
Critic reviews is like 39% right now,
Okay.
and then like user reviews like at 62. That's okay.
I'm never going to see it.
I'm never going to see it either. It was somewhat intriguing to me when I heard about it because there's a Superman comic book called Red something.
Red Sun?
Is it Red Sun? And he's bad.
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah,
It's a bad Superman.
Yeah.
And it sounded very similar to that. But apparently it's just not very good.
Yeah.
It's like this little kid
Looks like
killing
a horror
people.
movie. I don't care.
It is. They're turning it into a horror movie, and it could have been better, but I don't know if any of you wanted to go see it or did see it. Let us know what you thought or how it was. People aren't digging it.
Yeah.
Which I guess doesn't surprise me. I feel like if they would have played off an actual Superman or like a comic book type movie, if they would have like played that up and said that this is what we're playing off of, it might have done better because of today's day and age. But going the way they did with just being a horror, like weird show,
yeah,
it didn't play well. So you also, this last little thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought was kind of interesting is a Mark Bernardin thing from Fat Man on Batman. You heard it, obviously. And Mark Bernardin talks about how the MCU could bring in X-Men off of Endgame.
I did hear that, yeah.
And he was saying that since the Infinity Stones produce gamma radiation, Hulk says it's like mostly gamma, and he can accept that, obviously. But they show the blasts, during the movie of this gamma radiation. So that's happened twice.
3 times on Earth.
Was it 3 times on Earth?
Yeah.
I thought it was 3 times total.
3 times on Earth.
Okay. So 3 times all of this gamma radiation has been spread across the Earth. And he's saying, Mark Bernardin says, that with that happening, this is how you could introduce X-Men into the Marvel Universe, saying that all of these mutants were created from that gamma radiation being exposed throughout the world. I think that's kind of interesting and a good way to make a new cast of characters.
I guess. I don't know. I always liked the aspect that it was a genetic mutation. Yeah. So I guess maybe if you're going to say that blast activated a different gene.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it could.
Kind of the whole thing with the X-Men is they're a different species.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of that than human. So that's where like a lot of the persecution comes. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if like a snap and then all of a sudden, oh, there's a bunch of mutants.
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
don't know
that's
if I
kind
like
of
that idea.
that's kind of what DC did with the whole like Star Labs explosion
Yeah.
thing with their metahumans.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I'm not a huge fan of that either.
You
really.
aren't?
I mean,
Man, I
I
love
don't
it. Gosh, I love the Flash.
No, I like the Flash, but I don't
You don't like
the
the villains?
idea of like an event happening and then all of a sudden a bunch
Yeah.
of people are like mutated.
Sometimes it gets pretty corny because it's like, how have you never seen this person or heard of him before?
Right.
And apparently this was caused years ago at this point, and it's just now being apparent that this person, you know, is doing these terrible things. But they did play it off as like they hadn't discovered that trait or didn't discover their mutation until later.
I don't like the fact that mutants haven't been around for a long time. I mean, in the other series, they've
Yeah.
established they've been around forever.
So
essentially.
that was my gripe about it, is because then it's like Wolverine can't be, you know, like in World War One and Two and whatever, even though he was kind of created,
Not his mutant power.
but not his mutant power. Yeah, so you wouldn't have any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, see, I don't think they'll go that direction.
But
I don't know what they're going to do, but there is a rumor.
You don't know.
There's talks that Deadpool might be in Spider-Man 3.
Homecoming?
No, Spider-Man.
I always say that. It's Far From Home.
No, Spider-Man 3. The next one.
Isn't that the third one?
That's the second one.
Why do I feel like we've seen him 3 times? Well, we've seen him like 5 times.
Yeah. In any case.
Well, whatever. Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah. So kind of on that note, Disney, and I just thought of this as for news. Do you have more news?
Nope.
Disney released their film schedule to 2027.
Really?
But it's kind of a letdown because a lot of the future stuff just says untitled project, untitled project, untitled
Oh,
project.
really?
But there is some stuff they have said, like as far as this year goes, obviously we got Aladdin, Dark Phoenix, Toy Story 4, Lion King. That's all coming. I do not think other than Spider-Man. Now, this wasn't any Marvel. They were just Disney, not talking Marvel, though. Now, they did say that in here that there's going to be kind of a gap here for Marvel movies because there's really nothing in the pipeline. There's nothing in production right now.
Really?
Nothing being filmed. So we're probably...
Maybe they're giving us a little like breathing room.
That's fine. I mean, the next
Yeah.
ones they've talked about, we think the first one that's going to happen will be a Black Widow movie,
Yeah.
which I
Black
heard some
Widow
rumors.
movie. I don't know if I really want that.
I heard some rumors about it, and it sounded kind of cool, but I can't remember. Apparently, they are definitely making a Shang-Chi movie.
Shang-Chi? Who's that?
He's a Marvel character.
I'm not
been around for a
familiar.
long time. He's the master of martial arts, so that could be cool. They've talked about the Eternals. Not much on the front for Marvel, but
Well, I mean, there is a Spider-Man movie coming out like next month.
after that. But so there's some big ones this year with Toy Story 4, Lion King,
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix, Frozen 2, and Star Wars, obviously. But some of the ones going forward, they're making a Call of the Wild movie with Harrison Ford, like the book Call of the Wild.
Really?
Yeah, so that could be cool. Next year, there's a live-action Mulan movie.
Okay. That would be... I like Mulan.
That Artemis Fowl that we've talked about.
Yep.
Next year's the Jungle Cruise movie with The Rock. I'm just kind of running through some of the highlights here. There's a Cruella de Vil movie coming.
Really? I would watch that.
A lot of them, they just say untitled Disney Marvel, untitled Disney live action, untitled Indiana Jones
Really?
2021 or 2022.
That's not with Harrison Ford.
I believe so.
This is what I don't like. I don't want to see a 75-year-old Indiana Jones.
Well, you don't know
running
how they're
around.
going to do it. Give them
They
some
be-
credit.
They better have him. If they have him as like a mentor, I'm fine with that.
Well, I loved Sean Connery in The Last Crusade as his dad.
Yeah, and that type of character is fine. I don't feel like they're going to do that with him, though.
70-year-olds can still be relevant.
They're going
here.
to put him as the main character, jumping around, fighting people, cracking a whip, and he's not going to be able to do it.
And I will see it.
and you won't like it. And
But
it's
in
going to be a letdown.
2021, Avatar 2 is now Disney because that's a Fox property. So
Right.
now it's Disney. So that's
And they're
2021.
probably saying, like, you better get this shit moving along here, buddy.
Avatar 3 for 2023, Avatar 4 for 2025, Avatar 5 for 2027.
Okay, good.
So we're going to go every other year. And let's step back a little.
I'm
because
excited about Avatar.
We're
to be
going
honest.
2019 Star Wars. All right. 2021 Avatar. 2022 Star Wars. 2023 Avatar. 2024 Star Wars.
Holy crap.
2025 Avatar. 2026 Star Wars. 2027 Avatar. So we're going to get a lot of Star Wars and a lot of Avatar.
I'm
And a whole bunch of Marvel in the mix.
I'm good for that.
I'm good for all of that, and I think I have a feeling like I know it's been forever, and nobody even remembers Avatar, and none of the kids know what Avatar is.
None of the kids know what it is.
But let me tell you, James Cameron isn't going to screw this up.
No,
These are going to be amazing movies.
I wholeheartedly believe that he had this written out and ready to rock and roll from the beginning.
He's known what he's going to do for 20 years,
and we loved Avatar, even though it's a somewhat generic story. It doesn't matter.
I have a feeling like he spent all of the money in the world and produced 5 or 6 movies in the vein of them being almost like a TV series, but he's just like, I'm just going to make them as big budget movies.
But do you think that it's like building up the world that he already created to where like they have a kid together?
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's like a family event.
I don't think that they'll go back to the original movie. I think they'll fast forward it. They have to. It's been so long since they came out.
Well, that's what I mean. Like they're not gonna stay where
I think it'll be
at.
a brand new movie.
But I mean, with the same characters.
Yeah.
In the same world.
I don't think it'll be the same characters. No.
You don't?
No, I don't think so. But nobody knows.
Yeah. I think they'll.
One thing we do know is that 3 of those Star Wars movies so far, and we know for sure that this can change last minute because Solo changed last minute. But right now they're being written by the Game of Thrones guys, and a lot of people are pretty upset about that.
Benioff and Weiss.
But let's give these guys some credit. They made it the last 2 seasons pretty terrible. But so a lot of the issue is that they said, well, once these guys took over the show without source material, they kind of wrecked it.
Yes.
But they made a lot of great show.
And also, it's not like George R.R. Martin was non-existent.
Right.
I guarantee he didn't ignore them. He didn't ignore the show. Maybe he didn't lend a huge helping hand, but I'm pretty sure they went to him for
Reports say that he plotted it, essentially.
Okay.
So,
well, maybe he forgot how to write.
But anyway, so that's the news.
Well, one more. Did you see the Terminator, the new Terminator?
The
trailer?
one with the Linda Hamilton? Or
Yeah.
Is it Linda Hamilton?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
It's called Terminator Dark Fate.
I'll see it.
I will too. I haven't seen many of the new Terminators. I think
I just seen the one with Christian Bale. Was there more?
Yeah.
Was there more?
Oh yeah, there's been like 2 or 3 more after that. Yeah, that were ridiculous. And they brought Arnold Schwarzenegger back, I think, in all of them, and he wasn't that great. He's back in this one too, but with Linda Hamilton, and I think he's more of a side character.
Okay.
That they bring in like it looks like towards the end.
So they'll probably de-age him.
No, he's aged. He looks aged.
How can he age? He's a robot.
Yeah, but he's genetic. He's still genetic material that would age.
I guess.
He's the T-1000.
Okay.
Cybernetic organism. Mm-hmm. You know?
Well, anyway.
But it looks pretty neat. The main story is over about like a Terminator woman with a kid, but she doesn't realize that she's a Terminator. So it's like the whole world is starting to turn over into these cybernetic organisms, basically.
Right.
And she says, Sarah Connor, who is Linda Hamilton, says something to her about like what she is, and she's like, "What are you talking about? I'm not a robot." It's like, "Yeah, you are, bitch." Looks good.
Cool.
I think it looks really great, and I'll probably see it. You'll see it, but you haven't seen the others?
No, I probably won't see it.
I was gonna say I didn't feel like you would.
No.
Were you a big Terminator 2 fan?
For sure. I think it's one of the best movies of all time.
Judgment Day, yeah.
Yeah. I really do. I mean, it's a great movie.
It is phenomenal. I'm in wholehearted agreement with you because I think it's freaking awesome. That's a movie you could go back and watch
the first
every day.
3 I watched a lot.
The first 3?
Yeah. Terminator 2, and Terminator 3.
I don't know if I saw Terminator 3.
I have the box set at home. And then there was another one before the Christian Bale one. I think
Was it his Salvation?
Yes.
His was good.
That was good.
I like that movie.
That was a really good movie. So anyway, that's the news.
That's the news.
What do we got on time?
We're just over an hour and like 10 minutes.
So we got some stuff to cover. So you want to do what you're watching, or do you want to talk about the other stuff?
What was the other stuff?
The public domain stuff.
Oh,
I guess this is kind of news.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of news. But let's just do a real quick what you're watching.
Okay.
Because I've only really watched one thing.
Okay.
And it is that Dead to Me show.
Yeah. Okay.
So I saw, how many episodes did I see? I watched 4. I finished the 4th one last night. They're only 30 minutes. They're pretty quick. Linda Cardellini.
Yep.
I like her a lot. And that's the only reason why I started watching that. She's a good actress.
Yeah, she is.
She's a really good actress. Her character is kind of a nut job, and she's weird in this show. She's like really weird. I don't know if that was like by design,
or
if she chose.
Well,
to
maybe
do
you're
that.
not far enough in the show because I heard a little bit about that show, and it takes like a really kind of almost a horror twist.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
see, it's starting. It's starting
Chris
to
Hardwick
turn a
and
little bit.
her were talking about it on the podcast.
Well, and I listened to that podcast too, but I don't remember him saying anything about horror.
I think it turns not horror, but it turns dark.
It shows signs of that.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit that way. I don't know. I feel like the first 4 episodes
Definitely
are the exact,
not horror. That wasn't the right choice of words. Just I think it turns twisted and dark.
It's very
like
twisty.
crazy.
I could tell that that's what's going to happen. But by far, the first 3 episodes, the very first 3, are the exact same episode, basically. The annoying part is that Christina Applegate is the other main character. She's kind of annoying. I understand why she's kind of annoying, but it's just like she says the same things over and over again. And it's like the same thing played over every day of her life. And then Linda Cardellini's weird, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I feel like I'm invested enough to where I should finish it. There's 10 episodes. Like I said, they're only 30 minutes. I might as well, because they do a good job at the end of each episode hooking you into seeing the next one. Like something always happens like right towards the end, that last like 5 minutes, where you're like, how are they going to do that? And in episode 4, at the end of the episode, Christina Applegate like switches, she's flipped a switch, and she seems like she's going to be completely different, and then it feels like the show is going to take a different tone. My question throughout the whole thing was, how do they play this out for 10 episodes? Because that's what my question was. It's like every time you talk about the same thing, the same things are happening. What could you possibly do in this show to make it interesting?
Right.
It was really hard to stay interested. Amy checked out. I'm done with it. And
you're not selling me on it.
I wanted to check out, but like I said, the end of episode 4, I was like, okay, now there's a new story here going to happen, and I don't know what it is or how they're going to play it out, because there's secrets involved that are still being kept, and then they introduce a new storyline to it, and it's like, how is it going to play out? I really don't have any clue whatsoever how they could do this and make it interesting. So I plan on watching more, but I wouldn't tell anybody to go and watch it.
Skip it.
Yes.
Well, why don't you finish it first, and then we'll decide.
I'm going, like I said, I probably will, because at this point I feel like I should, just for my own peace of mind, to make sure either it was terrible, dumb, boring, or maybe it'll take a turn to where I'm like, that's pretty interesting.
Right.
Because like you said, with Doom Patrol, the first 3 episodes you thought were kind of boring. I mean, they were interesting because of how weird it was, but you didn't feel like it really progressed.
Right. Totally.
So, and that's exactly how I felt with this show.
Well, I'll get into Doom Patrol because, so I think the last time I told you I was almost done with it.
Yeah.
I was like in episode 9. I thought there was 10 episodes. Well, it turns out I got super, and I've talked about this, I get super into the show. Absolutely freaking love it.
Good.
And I was like pleasantly surprised because I never really looked forward to see how many episodes there were, but I just kept playing the next episode. There's 15 episodes.
There is?
Yeah.
Are they 30 minutes?
No, they're an hour.
Oh, they are full hour shows.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it just gets better and better. It just gets better and better and better every episode. It's so good. I didn't want it to end. It's so smart. It's so interesting. Alan Tudyk is amazing. The entire cast is amazing. It just gets weirder too. Like I want to sit here and say that like it doesn't just get weirder, but it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder every episode. And every episode, especially towards the end, once you've kind of established the characters and they get all that done,
Yeah.
every episode's completely different and interesting, and it takes all kinds of twists, and it just keeps you on your toes. And I've not really watched a show that I've liked as much as this for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it getting, my question was like, do you think it's good because of how weird it is, or is the story actually that engaging and good?
I think both. I think you do, thanks to all of that painful character setup, you do actually really start to get invested in the characters.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to go on a little bit of a journey with them. But the story does get interesting, especially after it takes like 10 episodes to kind of set everything up.
That seems like such a job.
Yeah.
Like to watch 10 hours worth of content to make it good.
Well, no. It's good in the meantime. I'm just
Okay.
saying, like, it's only really the first couple
Yeah.
that you kind of got to slosh through.
Okay.
And then they're good and fun and interesting and funny. But, you know, to really get to the heart of the main storyline, that really picks up in like the last probably 4 or 5 episodes. And it's really good, man. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It's like weird, and
I
want to give away the end.
No, I don't want you to.
Because it is so weird.
Yeah.
But I can't.
I feel bad because I feel like I should have watched this the same time you did,
You-
that we could
yes.
actually discuss it and spoil it for everyone.
Totally, you should be watching
Because
this
I
show.
don't want you to spoil it for me, and I'm selfish that way.
You would love this show. So again, that was the main thing. Like I finished that season. I was sad that it was over, and now I have to wait a whole another year. I just want to watch it all the time. It's great.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you want to rewatch it?
I would not rewatch it. No.
Oh, okay. So are they having a season 2 then?
Yes,
They will have a season 2.
for sure. I think
Okay.
the show's done very well.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been very well reviewed. There is one of the actors in this show I think should be up for an award. She's incredible. The one that plays the multiple personalities.
yeah.
Just the
That's
range
the one
of characters that she has to play is crazy. And Alan Tudyk is so good. I mean, you're going to love it just for Alan
Really?
Tudyk, especially towards the end.
I think he's good.
He doesn't have a lot to do through most of it because he's kind of like the in the background villain.
Yeah.
But towards the end, he definitely comes into more mainstream, and he is so over the top, like almost like just a really over the top villain in a comical way. That's almost like a Mark Hamill Joker type way,
Oh, well, that is definitely intriguing.
and really
because-
funny and really good.
All right.
And it's great. You know how I was telling you that his character is so interesting because his power is that he's like the omniscient narrator.
Yeah.
Well, you get further into it, and I'm not even gonna tell you.
No?
There's such a great twist to it that's so comic book, and
Okay.
and so meta. It's amazing.
Okay.
And
it's
was
so comic book, you say?
yeah. It's so I don't know. I really want to just tell you, but I'm not
just
going to.
don't want you to.
The space which he lives in and exists is very comic book related, and it's great.
Okay.
And they bring in, so there is also considered one of the greatest comic book runs of all time is Grant Morrison's run on Flex Mentalo.
Flex Mentalo. I've heard of that.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's in that. He's in Doom Patrol.
Okay.
And he's great. His superpower is he can do like all different kinds of things by flexing different muscles in his body.
Really?
Like all different kinds of crazy things.
Why can't I think of this shit?
And he is great. The actor that plays him is great. He's so funny and like tongue in cheek, and the whole thing is done so over the top, funny and ridiculous. It's just great. It's the most fun I've had watching a show, and I can't even tell you how long.
Wow, that's good. Real quick, where did tongue in cheek come from? How did that start?
Tongue in cheek.
That doesn't even make sense to me. Like, is it like I don't even know how to explain it. Like, where did tongue in cheek come from? Because is it like you say a joke or you say something funny and you literally like put your tongue in your cheek, like, being weird?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that
without really meaning what one is saying or writing. So I maybe we don't. So it means like a humorous or sarcastic statement expressed in a mock serious manner, which that makes sense.
Okay, so
it's like saying something sarcastic.
I know, but why would you say tongue in cheek?
Well, the phrase originally expressed contempt, but by 1842 had acquired its modern meaning. Early users of the phrase include Sir Walter Scott in 1828, the Fair Maiden of Perth. The physical act of putting one's tongue into one's cheek once signified contempt.
Okay, so is it like in a lot of Shakespeare stuff, how he says I flip my thumb at you, or I
bite my thumb at thee.
I bite my thumb at thee. That's what it is. Yeah. Is it similar to that, I guess?
No, that's like a middle finger. That's like flicking somebody off.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying
like
originally
similar,
it meant that.
I don't know. As soon as you said it, I know what that means.
Oh, the ironic usage originates with the idea of suppressed mirth, biting one's tongue to prevent an outburst of laughter.
Okay. That makes more sense to me. I can understand that a little bit. But I don't know. I've heard so many people say tongue in cheek, and it just doesn't.
In this sense, I mean it like they're playing it off serious, but like knowing that it's ridiculous.
In the show,
yeah.
You're saying. Yeah.
So anyway, I finished up Doom Patrol. Highly recommend that everybody gets it because there's so much other great stuff on this DC app worth getting for only $70 a year. I honestly feel like that is such a steal for this product.
Yeah.
It's so well done, too, the whole app. But anyway, so I ran out of that. Like I said, I haven't been able to find anything good. I tried to start watching this show on Amazon that has Fred Armisen and the other girl, Maya Rudolph, in it. So I watched like one episode
What's
of that.
What's it called?
I don't know what it's called. I'm never going to watch any more of it again. I watched one episode and I'm like,
I know what you're talking about too.
It was
Is
funny.
Maya Rudolph like a bad person?
No, they're like married.
Oh, they're married.
There's a big twist at the end of the first episode, and then the show starts over. Anyway, I need to watch more of that. But anyway, I quit watching that, and I went back to the DC app. I'm like, I got to explore this a little more. And that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start watching Titans. It's got good reviews.
Oh, yeah.
And so I did. And I watched the first episode.
Okay.
And
I'm excited.
It was really good. It was really good. And Marley loved it.
Really?
Yeah. And I fell asleep, unfortunately. It was late at night when I started watching it. And
that's what I
Marley
do now
texted
too.
me in the morning, and she's like, I couldn't stop watching that show. I stayed up and watched it after you fell asleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's, first of all, I expected it to be, so with Doom Patrol, I told you early on, I'm like, I thought it felt low budget.
Yep.
Definitely not the case as the show goes on. Definitely feels at a way higher production level than the CW shows.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And then,
because that's what, like I said, Swamp Thing looked very high budget, really.
I mean, I would think Doom Patrol had to be very high budget for a lot of stuff they did towards the end.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of the effects.
Like CGI stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very high budget. And then, so Titans I never really was interested because to me, it felt like it looked like it was trying to be a CW show, but more adult and darker.
Yeah.
But kind of like low special effects. Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem to be really the case with that at all either. Actually, I thought it seemed rather high budget and looked really cool. The first episode, I didn't get a huge into it. The first episode revolves around this girl, Rachel Roth, who I don't know much about Teen Titans, but she's like the dark one, like Raven. Is it Raven?
Oh, yeah, Raven.
I think she's Raven. I don't know that she's discovered that yet, but she doesn't really understand her powers. And so it focuses more on her and then Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
And it takes place in Detroit, which is super cool.
Yeah. Well,
And-
that's where Titans like originated. That's where their first.
See, I don't know much about Titans.
That's where their first like.
But they're not teens. This isn't Teen Titans. They're like adults.
No, Titans was adults.
Okay.
Like the Titans comic book was like adult versions of like sidekicks, kind of.
Okay.
You know, but then they did make them Teen Titans because they were younger versions of themselves. But their first, what do you call it? Not layer, but like their first headquarters, basically, like the Titans headquarters was in Detroit.
Okay. Well, Dick Grayson's like a detective.
Right.
He is Robin. I mean,
Yeah.
he is not yet Nightwing in the show, so I don't even know if they go to Nightwing or not.
I'm pretty sure they do because they showed him in trailers like dressed up like him.
Well, he's super badass,
Is he really?
and he kicks ass, and
That's awesome.
they do it well. And like the action sequences, there was only one action sequence in the first episode with him, but it was awesome. And it's grim, man. It's a gritty show. It's a gritty show.
You know I like that.
And
You're talking my language here, Christopher.
I know that in season 2, I believe Jason Todd's in it too.
Really?
So as another Robin. So maybe he's the Robin and then Nightwing
And
comes
Nightwing
out.
comes out
I
of
don't
Dick
really know.
Grayson.
I haven't
Yeah.
gotten any of the other characters like Beast Boy, who was originally in Doom Patrol. But
Yeah.
oh no, they did introduce in the first episode Starfire.
Yeah. So it's Starfire, Dick Grayson, or Nightwing, or Robin. Robin, really.
It's actually Robin.
Yeah, it's Robin. So Robin, Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Raven.
Okay. So he's not in this. I'm just looking at the thing. I know apparently Superboy's in it. And
Yeah, Cyborg's not in it.
no, because he's in Doom Patrol.
Right.
And he's got a great
So
story
they
in Doom
flip flop
Patrol.
Beast Boy and. Well, no, because both.
Beast Boy was in both.
Now, I personally have watched Teen Titans Go a lot.
Yeah, I have
which is
too.
silly, but I freaking love that show.
Yeah, I
It's
watched
hilarious.
that with Cash.
Yeah, Grady loved it forever.
The movie got really good reviews too.
It's good. I watched the movie. It's really funny.
I'm like mixed on that show because sometimes I like it, but sometimes it's too like.
Well, you got to take it at face value.
yeah.
It's a joke show,
Yes,
but they
correct.
tie it into the DC world really well.
They got one scene in Titans where Dick Grayson goes and beats the crap out of a bunch of people, basically, and they say something about Batman, and he just turns to the camera and goes, "Fuck Batman."
Yeah, well, that's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because I remember when the trailer
Like,
came out.
Dial down the anger a little
Yeah,
bit.
everybody was making fun of him because they're like, "Whoa, man! Like
It is a little ridiculous.
this
but,
is the edgy guy."
but anyway, I was interested. I'll keep watching it if it's anywhere as good as Doom Patrol, which I don't know how it can be. Doom Patrol's amazing.
If it is, I mean, they're building quite.
So
a
stop
little
waiting
catalog.
around. You're getting the app anyway. Just go get it right now.
I know. I need to just
First of all, for the reading alone, because I know how much you read on like iPads and
Yeah.
stuff. The reading alone, it's totally worth it.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely what I need to do because I want to read the whole metal run.
I don't think this this app is going away. Like you say, it's
don't
going
think
away.
so?
No, I don't think so.
I don't want it to. It was just a guess because I don't see why Warner Brothers or AT&T Warner Brothers together. I don't know why they would have two separate streaming apps. It doesn't make sense that they would do that because then you're taking viewership away from one of your streaming
unless they're
services.
going to bundle them. Like there's been talks of Disney and Hulu getting bundled together.
So if you buy one, you get the other.
Yeah.
No matter
well,
what.
you might pay a little more or something.
Right.
I don't know.
That's the thing. And then you up your cost. And why does somebody want to spend,
Well, the thing with
$20
Hulu has
or
always
whatever?
been, I mean, live TV.
Right.
So they're really going
Which
for,
is cool.
Yes, but they're going for we want to replace, cable or any of that.
Which is going to happen.
Yeah. So if you still want to get your, except CBS is still out there. And I've also heard great things about that new Star Trek show. So I don't know. There's too many. I can't do that right now. I'm gonna stick with Titans. I got 2 seasons of that to watch, so
There's 2 seasons of that out?
I think so. Yeah,
Oh, dang, man. I didn't know that. That
or
gets
maybe
me even more
season
excited.
2 is coming out. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool.
I don't want to wait a year for more Doom Patrol though. But anyway, that's all I got on those.
Awesome. So our next subject was
Public domain
public domain.
per listener request.
Yes. I don't know where to go with this, to be honest with you, because it is a broad subject.
Yeah. Well, it's just not much to talk about. It's just super interesting that. So the idea here is that once things go off of copyright and they're in the public domain, anybody can do anything with it, anything you want to do. And
So, do you buy the property then? Do
No.
you buy it or do you just use it?
no, it's just public.
Well, I know, but then once it's public, somebody takes that and uses it for a thing.
Yeah.
Do,
You just can't prevent anybody else from making something else with that thing.
so it can never be like bought again.
No.
It'll always forever be in the public domain.
Right. That's
Okay.
correct.
So there's no reverting back after that.
No.
That I didn't know.
Now, copyright holders can renew their copyrights every so often, blah, 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 blah.
So somebody else can't come in and get a copyright on the property.
No, so for example, let's say Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Say that's in public domain. That means anybody in the world can go out and make a Little Red Riding Hood movie.
Oh, okay.
So the interesting part of this whole situation was that our copyright laws changed in, I believe, and don't quote me on this, in 1967, at the behest essentially of Walt Disney.
I'm sure.
Through significant lobbying, because they were going to come off copyright on Mickey Mouse or something along those lines. So they changed the laws. In about 1967, the United States, which is one of the only we have one of the longest copyright periods. So they changed it to 95 years, I believe, from 50. So they changed,
I thought it was like 70 years.
or whatever it was, they changed it to 95 years.
Holy crap.
There are other countries that have 70 year and there are other countries that have 50 year. But ours changed to 95 years. So when they changed that, there's been a period of drought
Yeah.
of however many years were in the interim from 50 to 95. Well, I guess that it would be 45 years where there's been nothing released into the public domain. All right.
Right.
That went up on January 1st in 2019. That 45-year drought ended. So now we're caught back up, and every year stuff from 95 years prior will be released in every year. So in 2020, stuff from 1920, 1919, whatever.
Yeah. I think it's
off.
1923 is the year this year. That's what's coming out. For 2019, all public domain is from 1923.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
One interesting thing is, I think it's 1924 is Mickey Mouse comes into public domain. So I don't know what that means for Disney,
that's
but
next year. So is it 94? It's 94 years.
no, it's
then.
95 years. I had the article up on the computer, and it is gone now. So in any case, stuff entering public domain. Most of it now is from the 1920s. So it's not stuff you're going to be super familiar with it. I couldn't really find a good list of stuff that stands out right now. A lot of it's books and music and stuff. But like, for example, let me try and find this article.
I have a list of the best public domain movies that are out right now, or that are in the public domain, and it's because like they're from all different years, obviously, past 1923, because they just were never recopyrighted. Like they didn't copyright them apparently. But like Night of the Living Dead, that's public domain. Phantom of the Opera. Let's see, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Little Shop of Horrors. Like all these could be remade.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Gold Rush is, but McClintock. It's one of the best John Wayne movies. I like that movie. There's just so many that are on here that,
well,
again, that you don't really know though. So right now, I feel like we're in years we're in the years that just don't have stuff that interests us.
Yeah.
As of right now, because we don't know the movies.
Probably not. But, the interesting thing is we're starting to get now in 95 years into the age of movies. So another thing about public domain is any network can air something in the public domain. So in 2019, the Ten Commandments, remember the movie?
Yeah, that's coming out.
Came out in public domain this year. A bunch of Charlie Chaplin stuff like that. So, you can air that movie without playing it. You can remake that movie. So Tarzan came into public domain this year. So we'll probably see a bunch of new Tarzan movies.
Yeah, we definitely will.
A bunch of music. I don't know about what music's going to be interesting, but 2021 I was looking on here. I believe one of them on there is 1984 by George Orwell.
Yeah.
In 2020. So my guess is in 2020 you're going to see a 1984 movie, which I love that book.
Sure, I never read it.
Animal Farm as well is coming in public domain.
Don't act like you're such a well-read person.
1984, love that book.
You've read it?
Absolutely, yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's it even about? 1984?
It's but
is it like a
then,
futuristic?
Yeah, it's you ever see the movie Equilibrium or with Christian Bale? So it's like in the future, it's like the government basically is surveilling everybody.
Okay.
They use the phrase 1984 a lot to talk about like government overstepping and government surveilling and no privacy and stuff like that. So
I've always just heard 1980, like the book by George Orwell. Isn't that who it is? Orwell?
Yeah.
I've just heard it always been as like a joke where when people like try to act fancy and say like, oh yeah, I've read a lot, 1984 by George Orwell.
Really?
Like,
is that one people use?
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's what I've heard. And it's used as like a joke because it's like that's what says you're really well read if you've read that.
Well, we read it in school.
No.
Mm-hmm. I did.
I went to the same school as you.
Well, I'm sorry.
And not far behind you.
I read it in school, so maybe it was for a book report. I don't know. But
I think you made it up.
There was like that one, and then there was Brave New World, which was another book kind of on the same subject.
Okay.
Kind of similar to like Fahrenheit 451. They were all kind of in that same
that
vein
one I've
of like
read.
In the future, the government controls everybody, and you can't do anything, and they're so.
Yeah,
anyway.
like there's a list out of different things, and it says 12 great movies just added to the public domain. The Barnyard, don't know that one. The Covered Wagon.
Well, like it said, at this point, they're going to be like a lot of 1920s like silent movies and stuff.
Flaming Youth.
The Ten Commandments was a big movie at the time.
The Handyman. Homeward Bound. Little Old New York.
Bambi is coming into the public domain.
Yes, Bambi is coming.
So
safety last.
Another interesting. So anyway, the idea is going forward every year there's going to be stuff in the public domain. So you're going to see those things get remade into movies.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to find out like when I don't know, like what's a big name thing besides like Mickey Mouse. So that's legit going to be.
Popeye, I think, is coming.
Popeye. I was just watching Popeye cartoons today, actually. I wasn't personally. The boys were, and they thought it was hilarious.
I was trying to find a list of like big things in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find one. So
No?
So it's kind of a letdown. But there is a good series, and if you search, so public domain superheroes. So it'd be like superheroes that are in the public domain over the years, either because they were never copyrighted or they've fallen out of copyright.
So, but here's the thing real quick before you get into that. Do you remember a time where we were going to do like a writing exercise?
Yeah.
Where we were going to take public domain superheroes and just create stories for them?
Yeah. And the reason is because I had read an article talking about public domain superheroes, and it pointed me to all of these characters that Alex Ross drew. So he took all of the public domain characters and drew them. If you search Google for public domain superheroes and look at the images, you'll see his drawings. And I have a ton of them pulled up here. I mean, there's like hundreds of them, literally.
That's crazy.
But
there's some pretty funny ones.
Yeah. The one I'm looking at is the Green Giant, Phantasmo, the Boy King, The Claw, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lash Lightning, Mr. Raven, the Sword, the Flag, the Green Llama. Some of these are cool though. Black Terror and Tim.
And Tim, that one.
That was the one.
Remember, that was one we were gonna do.
The Arrow, Pyroman, the Liberator. I mean, there's a ton of them, but these drawings are super cool. The Fightin' Yank,
The Fightin' Yank, Silver Streak,
the Target, and the Targeteers. Some of them are so funny.
That's crazy. Wait, is Daredevil in the public domain?
The original Daredevil, not the Marvel Daredevil.
The red, it's like he's half red and half black.
Right.
He kind of looks like Deadshot.
Kind of, yeah. Professor Supermind.
So wait, what? How could you write a book then called Daredevil?
Well, it couldn't have anything in it that would trigger Marvel to sue you. So it would be very difficult.
I mean, you couldn't. How could you even use the name?
Well, I don't know.
Do they have the name Daredevil copyrighted?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's
I do want to write Yank and Doodle.
oh my gosh! I'll let you write Yank and Doodle because
Mr. Face looks kind of interesting. I wonder if these were like what these guys originally looked like, or these were Ross's take on those characters.
Alex Ross is a really good artist.
He is incredible.
He paints everything.
Yeah,
Did you know that? He does all painting.
He does everything? It's all painting?
Yeah, majority of everything is painted. Because I saw a little, it was like a little documentary for him. It was only like 15 minutes, but it was showing his studio because he lives in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, lives in Chicago, and it was where's it at that he lives? It starts with an H. It's not like Homewood, but it's like something like that. But he lives up there.
Highland Park.
Maybe it is. I don't know. But he lives up there, and they were showing his basement, and it's just all of this stuff that he's created in his basement, you know. But it was showing where he draws, and it's just paint everywhere. Huh. All these artists are very messy people. They've got crap everywhere. And, yeah, he paints, like, basically everything. That's how he gets... That's, like, his style of art is through painting, and that's how he gets, like, the very lifelike human look. Miss Fury. I feel like you could make a good character out of Miss Fury.
I mean, you can make a good character out of any of them.
Yeah, you can. I just feel like that would hit pretty well in today's day and age. Phantom Lady, Wonder World comics, Lightning comics, masks.
So anyway, that was I mean, we didn't do enough research on the public domain stuff, but I do think it's interesting. I think it's really cool that there was just this drought for so many years, and then all of a sudden, like, it's back now.
Well, and like we were talking, I think it is a good thing to talk about for people that want to create, because if you are having an issue with creating something on your own, the big thing is, like, don't get hung up on having to be 100% original. This is where Chris and I, like, me personally, like, I struggled with thinking that I had to create something that was solely ours and no one else's, and that it didn't tie into anything, and I was always worried about it tying into a different story. And it's like, dude, this has been, everything you could think of has been played out.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is take a story that works, or take a trope or whatever, something that works and make it your own, and just write a story, you know? So if you're interested in writing or interested in creating, look at some of these characters and just make something up with them. And I think it is a good writing exercise that we haven't done because we've been trying to create our own stuff. I don't know. I think it would be something fun for people to do. Even if you aren't serious about it, it still could be something fun that you're just, like, goofing around with.
Yeah.
Looking at some of these characters, like, just looking at them, they're really good characters. And I would watch and look at or read anything about them. You know, I mean, like, Yank and Doodle. Yes, that's goofy. But, like, I'm looking at public domain characters right now, and there's a few of them that I'm really interested in because they look awesome. This website that I'm on is terrible.
So Sherlock Holmes is one that's public domain, And I think it went off public domain right before they made that Robert Downey Jr. movie.
Really?
Yeah. And but Watson isn't public domain or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I was reading something along those lines. So, I think it's gonna be super cool though. Like someday, Star Wars is not gonna be public domain.
Well, so listen to this. Like, Superman and Batman. Superman is going to be in 2033, and Batman is in 2034.
That's crazy.
That's like soon.
So Batman's not. See, here's the thing though. Like,
It's not public domain.
but all of the stuff that's been created around Batman since then, technically, still would be owned by DC.
Sure, but you could create your own stories.
But could you make a character called Batman now that isn't resembling DC's Batman, and would that be actionable? I guess it would be,
Yeah.
because that name is copyrighted.
So it says, well, this is talking about like waiting for 95 years, and it says, take a look at Sherlock Holmes as a case study. As of 2014, the character and everything written prior to 1923 are public domain. The content of 10 stories were not. That means any material, excluding content found exclusively in those 10 stories, could be freely used.
And that's right when that movie came out.
Yeah. There still may be trademark issues that limit how you may use the character.
Sherlock Holmes, that was a Guy Ritchie movie, right? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie did Aladdin. Did you know that?
He did?
I think so, yeah.
The one that's out?
Yeah.
No, I did not
I didn't
know that.
either.
Wow.
Better double check that. Yeah, he did. He did Aladdin.
Holy cow. That does not seem like a Guy Ritchie movie to me.
I don't know. Anyway,
That's cool.
should we do a little what's in the box?
What's in your box? Chris? What's in the box?
I don't know, but this one's got a cool back to it.
Is it a different back finally and it's not Captain Marvel?
This is
Hey, wait, what year are we working on here?
Oh, good call. We are oh no, I dropped
Oh,
it.
you are the worst.
We are working on December 2015.
December 2015.
What were you doing back then?
In December 2015, I had just moved that August into the house that my brother-in-law now lives in, and we were preparing things to build a home, a new house. So
That doesn't feel like that long ago.
that, let's see, that January, no, it would have been, it would have been, December of 2015. So we're going into 2016 in that January. So like that next year is when we were getting plans created, like architectural drawings of our house.
Yeah, did you only have one child?
No, we had two.
Two.
Yeah, Grady and Grant was born in 2014.
Okay.
So then so Amy was getting pregnant soon. I don't know how that happens, but she did.
So we got a Deadpool number
Deadpool.
3.1. Tres punto uno. It's all in Espanol.
It is?
Presentado a Massacre al Deadpool Mexicano.
He's goofy.
I like the back cover, though.
The back is really neat.
For January 2016, Spider-Man Deadpool number 1. I wish I had that.
You don't?
I don't think so.
What kind of collector are you?
I don't know. Anyway.
There's a guy at work.
You're probably
that comments on all of your comic book collections.
Oh, what does he say?
He just thinks that you must be a millionaire to have all these comic books.
Oh, they're like $1, $2.
It's just fun. It's fun because you do have like a bajillion of them.
DC Bombshells number 7. Yeah.
Bombshells. Okay, great. There we go.
Saga.
That's what I like to see.
Chapter 32.
Holy crap. What a story, man.
I love this cover. It's just like no ads. Just blue on the back.
How?
Whoa.
Gosh, it gets me so worked
Gratuitous
up.
nudity.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Saga's full of gratuitous nudity.
Wiener.
If you like gratuitous nudity and sex in an adventure comic, Saga.
Saga's your jam.
That's your jam right there.
It blows my mind real quick. It just blows my mind that there are people out there with the capability of weaving a story like Saga.
Yeah, it's a great
Like
book.
That guy, Brian K. Vaughan, man, he's a genius.
Here we go with a little bit of what I like to call Daredevil, number 2,
Yeah.
Charles Soule. I'm going to have to hand this to you so you can check out this amazing art. It is incredible.
Oh my gosh. That dude's got a lot of fingers.
That's some great art.
Yeah, I like how simple it is.
Right here, we got another
Red.
great cover from Spider-Man. Spider-Man covers, man, they have this like look to them.
Yeah, they have a look to them, and they're always better than everyone else's.
Yeah.
Is that a train?
That is a bus
Oh, a bus, and it's he's getting zapped.
stabbed by some kind of a laser sword. Amazing
Ouch.
Spider-Man number 5.
Dang, looking in this Daredevil book, the art throughout the whole book is that way.
I know, it looks
Like
incredible.
the cover, and it's really good.
World's Greatest Comic Magazine, Deadpool, number 4. That's a pretty cool cover.
Yeah, that is nice. Colorful.
We got a little bit of Doctor Who, the 11th Doctor Adventures, year 2. It's pretty exciting.
This is Daredevil number 2. This is what I need to start reading this one. I got to finish my other Daredevil run, but I'm waiting for them to all come out. But this Charles Soule, I need to read his stuff.
We got a little bit of Lazarus right here,
Love it.
number 21.
Oh, that's close to the end because I think they finished at 26, 24 or 26 with that.
We got an Amazing Spider-Man, number 6. I just love the like painted art of the Spider-Man covers.
And that's like an Alex Ross thing.
That's a cool cover.
That's what Alex Ross does. He paints.
This was a light month.
It is. It's thin. You must have been, down on your money that month.
DC Bombshells. Jerry doesn't like those.
Nah.
But here we got a Swamp Thing, number 1. Len Wein.
Oh yeah, he came out with a new run from.
Yep.
I was reading it tonight. Actually, it was like from 2015 to something, right before he passed away. He's
man.
an original. So Len Wein is an original creator of Swamp Thing.
Yeah. This is cool looking.
That dude, gosh, he created some really good characters.
We got
like
Star Wars number 14. I read this one. I remember this
Wolverine.
one. I have that in a trade. Vader Down, part 5 of 6.
Vader Down.
That was a really good run, the Vader Down series.
Was it?
I just get the trade. It's amazing.
Oh, all right. Do you have it?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, find that for me.
You know what? Actually, I don't think I have the trade. I think I read them digital. I do. I have them on Comixology. I bought them.
Aha.
And I think I was.
That's rare.
I think I was reading. I think it was because we were in the hospital having a kid, and I
Yeah.
got Comixology and I was watching them. It wasn't that year. I would have been like the year after.
It had
but-
to have been Sky,
Yeah, Sky. When is she born? When was she born, Jerry?
2015.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier.
You're welcome for remembering that. She's a year younger than Grant. That's why I remember.
Deadpool number 5. So a lot of Deadpool this one.
Yeah, so that makes sense that year you would have been reading it.
Yeah. Let's see. We got
Oh, boy.
The Walking Dead number 150. This
Number
is
150.
probably a key issue.
There's another dude that can just weave a story forever and ever and ever and not know when to quit.
Original comic art. You can buy original Walking Dead comic pages on splashpageart.com. That's kind of cool.
It is cool. I love Robert Kirkman and what he's done, but you got to know when to give it up, man.
What? I don't know why you're saying that. So you're okay with like Spawn running for 300 episodes or issues?
No, I mean I don't know,
But
not necessarily.
Walking Dead's only on like 200 or something.
Spawn's a little different though because it's just like one hero that is fighting things that never end. I mean, I don't know. I think zombies are just overdone.
It's a world, Jerry. Man, is that more thunder?
It is. Lots of thunder. I don't know. I'm just not.
And the
zombie
thunder
guy.
rolls and the lightning strikes.
Yeah. G. Brooks.
Another love grows strong.
No, I don't think that's the right lyric.
On a something
Sleepless night. Another love
as the storm
grows
goes
cold.
on out of control.
Snarfioki coming at you.
Deep in her heart, the thunder rolls.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
When that CD was out.
What CD is it? Do you even know?
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
No
either.
Fences.
Sounds good. That
Something
sounds
like
good.
that. I remember we used to go on vacation on a houseboat in Tennessee.
Yeah.
On the Dale Hollow Lake.
Dale Hollow. Really?
Yeah, Dale Hollow Lake.
That's my Uncle Jim wants to go to Dale Hollow.
Oh, it's great.
so bad for carp fishing.
It's a great lake. It's
It's
an
apparently
unbelievable lake.
phenomenal for carp fishing.
Well, anyway, we several times when I was a kid, we'd get a houseboat and we'd go down there, and not like the amazing houseboats now that are like luxury. There's pretty shitty little
Yeah.
houseboats, but
You had a houseboat for a while. Your dad
yeah,
did.
that's true. I forgot about that.
Yep.
So we'd play that on a little boom box and sit on top like at night.
Yeah.
Me and my sisters. And there's a propane tank on the top of the houseboat.
Okay.
And we'd sing that like thunder rolls. And then when we'd bang the propane tank, we'd go crash, boom, bang.
Oh, how simple life was then.
Yeah.
Crash, boom, bang on a propane.
So I always think that when I hear that song, I go, thunder rolls, crash, boom, bang, and the lightning strikes. Oh, no, it's after the lightning strikes part.
Yeah. Well, it would have to be because you don't get thunder until lightning. Right?
You get thunder before lightning?
No, it's from lightning, I thought. Doesn't like lightning occur and then you hear the thunder?
Yeah, that makes sense. Isn't there a song about that?
You're singing it.
No, not that song.
But yeah, so it says the
And
thunder.
lightning's kicking ass. What's that song?
That is a made up song.
No,
right?
no, it's not a made up song. The thunder does the work, son, and lightning's kicking ass or something like that.
No. I don't know
it's
what
a
you're talking
song.
about. I understand you're saying it's a song, but I don't think it exists. I'm pretty
It's
sure
a
you made it
country
up.
song.
But Garth Brooks is wrong because he says the thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. It should be the lightning has struck and now the thunder rolls.
Okay, listen.
Idiot. How did he make it famous?
It's a song, and it goes,
Oh, boy.
thunder makes the noise, boys, and lightning does the work. You've never heard that song?
No. Who sings this?
It ain't the smoke, it's the fire that gets the burning done. If it wasn't for the bullet, nobody'd fear the gun. It ain't the bark, it ain't the growl, it ain't the bite that hurts. Thunder's just the noise, boys. Lightning does the work.
Nice.
Chad Brock.
Chad Brock.
Remember Chad Brock?
He's got to be from the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
I don't remember him.
Well, we're going to get a little taste of it after this Samsung
not,
ad.
Yeah, that's not the song.
Why do I have to listen to an ad?
I don't know. It's awfully loud and annoying.
I have YouTube Red. I shouldn't have to listen to ads.
See how fancy he is? You've probably read 1984 by George Orwell. Knowing you.
You don't know this song?
No. Let's listen. Uh-huh.
It's the music video is just him welding. That's for real.
That sounds like an Aaron Tippin.
He's a big old fat guy welding
Nice.
and grinding. Now he's grinding.
Okay. Yeah, get it.
Can't believe you don't remember this song.
No.
It gets the
I don't-
burning done. Nobody'd fear the gun. It ain't the bite. Thunder does the noise, boys. Lightning does the work.
No, I know a lot of 90s country because I was
That's
into that.
2005.
Oh, shit. That's not... Then that makes sense as to why I wouldn't know that then. 2005, I wasn't.
The first comment on the music
no.
video is, when my youngest girl was afraid of the thunder and lightning, was afraid of thunder and lightning when this song came out. I burned a whole CD with it, and she played it over and over during storms so she could remember that thunder's just a noise, boys. Lightning does the work. It calmed her down, and after a while, she was no longer afraid of storms. It's amazing how many ways one song. It's amazing how many so many ways one song can touch different people's lives.
So now she is afraid of guns now because of bullets.
Well, why would that?
She just realized, like, oh my gosh.
Here's the point. Why is that helpful? Because thunder is just a noise. But the whole point is lightning does the work.
Right. Lightning is the one that burns your house down.
Don't be afraid of the thunder, daughter. It's the lightning that's going to kill us.
Right. You see that big flash? That will murder you.
Just oh my God.
It's amazing how songs can just touch your heart, and how they can save you from anxiety of storms. Speaking of that, Grady's been
He was a former
terrified.
wrestler, Chad Brock.
What, in like professional?
What is a professional? I mean, what's a professional wrestler? I guess he was in the WWE.
Oh yeah. Well, then he definitely is profesh.
Let's see. He's an American country singer and disc jockey. Before beginning his musical career in the late 1990s, he was a professional wrestler in WCW.
Wrestler.
Until an injury forced him to retire.
Did Mankind throw him off of the cage in Hell in the Cell?
I can't believe you don't remember him. He had a couple other big songs.
Fell 16 feet off the cage in Hell in the Cell. Into the announcer's
A rewrite of A Country Boy Can't Survive? Really?
Got hit by a chair, broke a jaw.
He did?
Yep.
He had one called Yes.
Made that up.
That was the album. He had a bunch of singles.
People's Elbow brought him down.
Ordinary Life.
Crossface Crippler.
Lightning Does the Work. A Country Boy Can't Survive. Y2K version. Yes.
Y2K version?
Yeah.
What a joke.
Put a Redneck in the White House.
What is Country Boy Can't Survive Y2K version? It's like,
well, Hank Williams
don't worry
Jr.
about zeros and ones.
With Hank Williams Jr. and George Jones.
Oh, well, George Jones is my jam. I like him a lot.
He was active up until 2008.
Chris Brock?
Chad Brock.
Chad Brock.
Who is Chris Brock?
He's not a person. I just confused Chad and Chris together.
No, he is a person. He's a retired major league pitcher.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
He played 6 seasons for the Atlanta Braves.
Oh. Okay. there you go. Hey, this one, Billy Buckner. You know Billy Buckner?
Yeah, Billy Buckner. Didn't he missed a ball, right?
Yeah, he played for the Red Sox, and a ball went through his legs into the outfield. He was playing first base, and then it allowed the Mets to win Game 6, and then they went on to win Game 7, and the Red Sox continued their losing streak in the World Series, and everyone blamed Billy Buckner.
But nobody remembers anymore because they
wanted to murder him.
Yeah, kind of like Bartman.
Yeah, he was like the original Bartman, only as a player.
Was destroyed.
Yeah, he's still like hiding, right? Or is he out in public
I think
now?
he lives with
his mom.
Yeah, him.
Mom, more meatloaf.
Well, okay. What happened is him and his mom, of course, they were forced to move to Russia because of death threats.
No way.
This is true.
To Russia?
They had to move to Russia, and then his mom met
Putin,
Edward Snowden. Because Edward Snowden was hiding in Russia too.
Yes.
And then his mom
got involved.
And Edward Snowden became an item. They got married. So actually Bartman...
Are you joking me?
Bartman's stepdad is Edward Snowden.
You can't make this shit up. Did somebody make a movie out of this?
It should be a movie.
Is it public domain?
Well, there was a Snowden movie, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It's in that movie.
For real?
Yeah, it just came out last year. That Snowden movie.
What the heck? Okay, so this still doesn't say where he's at. Is he still in Russia?
Bartman?
Yeah.
Well, see, what happened was he was in Russia, but he was super upset because he didn't believe that Edward Snowden
was a bad guy.
Was a hero. like much of the American public believes, and wants him to be extradited back to the U.S. and dropped charges, blah, 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 blah. He didn't believe that. He was with
And
Trump.
he would know because he's his stepdad.
He was on the side of saying, like, no, he's an enemy of the state. So and then he got pissed off at the United States.
Okay.
So he actually went over to Putin, and he's a KGB operative now.
You made that part up.
No.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You made that part up.
He became a covert KGB operative.
It's not true.
Yeah, he was actually killed in Syria.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, he should be.
Yeah, he was the one delivering the weapons to the bad guy in Syria.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ahmadinejad.
This is ridiculous.
Well, we don't know.
I don't even know what's true now. Like, what part of this is true? I don't even know. Did he really move to Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What
with his mom?
Okay. No. Did he really move with his mom?
Yes. What? He's not going to move by himself.
I know, but most people get like married or have something.
His mom got married.
To who?
Edward Snowden.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This can't be.
The snowman, as they call him there.
Right. Well, I'm sure he calls his stepdad Snowman.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy should be. Never mind.
What was his name?
Done
Was
with
it
this.
Steve?
This is ridiculous.
Steve Bartman now. Yeah, the Steve Bartman incident.
Yeah, we know he had an incident.
Oh, no, not that incident. No, the incident's when he got killed in Syria.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yes. We're at 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Okay. A well-spent 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Now that we all know about Edward Snowden becoming...
He was actually given a World
Bartman's
Series
dad.
ring by the Cubs.
Yeah, I know. He was.
Yeah. I mean, post-death, but...
Right. Posthumously.
Is that what it is? I was trying to think of the word, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
Posthumously awarded the World Series ring. Yeah. Of course he
There's
was.
a documentary in it called Catching Hell.
Gosh, could you imagine that? Like making a big-ass mistake like that? That's a big mistake.
Yeah. I remember watching that happen.
Yeah. And then he was escorted out because everybody was like going to murder him in the stands.
Yeah. It turns out, after all that, he still got murdered.
Right. He still got murdered in Syria
Yeah.
with chemical weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delivering chemical weapons to Ahmad Ahmadinejad.
Dinner will be late, Judge.
Oh, man. We're going to be on lists now.
Yeah. I know. Now we're going to be tracked. Cover up your little... You got to cover up your camera on your... I didn't have my camera covered up.
I don't either.
People do that.
Everybody does that.
That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, should we do that?
They have it on a new computer. Some of the new computers, they're like, you push the top and the camera pops out.
Oh, so it's always covered.
Yeah.
Ah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do see it a lot. Actually, on some YouTube videos when people have if you can see their camera or can see their like computer screen, I've seen tape over them a lot.
Yeah.
And then you've got people like, what's the Mark Zuckerberg? So there was an interview with him where he was talking about like, no, you don't need to be worried about this tracking you. No, you don't need to be worried about this. And his computer was open behind him and he had tape over his camera. And everybody's like, you're telling us not to be worried about things and yet you're taping over your camera so people don't watch you.
A bunch of people that I know do. They have tape over their cameras.
Really?
Yeah. They must think they're very interesting.
Right. That's my thing is like who really like if you want to spy on me or listen to anything, you're not going to get much.
I'm an open
You're
book.
going to get nothing. Why don't you just listen to my podcast? Okay. Because I could use the numbers.
Because I'm an American.
Right. All right. Well, on that note.
So if you learned anything this episode, watch Doom Patrol. And thunder's just a noise, boys.
Right. Lightning is where the work comes from.
Doing the work.
Yeah.
For Snarf Talk.
I am Gerald Snyder.
And I'm Chris.
Defer.
Harford.
The third.
Well, just the first.
Okay.
First of my name.
Last of your name as well. Yep. See you later.
Ya.